I think this quote says it all really. Every email that you send is the cleanest customer data you'll ever get your hands on for free. And if you're not testing, then you're collecting that data, but you're not actually learning anything from it. Now, everybody knows that split testing is important. That's not controversial, but how do you actually do it without consuming so much time, and what do you actually test? Those tend to be the two problems that people face when it comes to split testing. So I'm going to cover how you overcome both of those problems in this video. So the first thing we're going to cover is what you actually test, how to track it, which is the most important part, and then finally how it compounds. And if you stay to the end, you're going to get access to my dashboard where we use to run all of this. So we've built a system that runs like clockwork for our clients, that we're constantly split testing and figuring out what is good, what is bad for our clients. So stick around till the end if you want to get access to that. Now, before I jump into it, I want to be the first one to say that I trust my own instincts and my own gut just as much as anyone. In fact, my gut is pretty accurate most of the time. However, I don't care to admit those rare occasions where I've been completely wrong about a concept or about some data that I thought we were going to get and we didn't. And that's the great thing about this split testing, is that there's no bias associated with it. There's no ego associated. It's just raw numbers telling you, is it A or is it B? And that's it. And especially when you're a brand owner as well, I find that this is even harder for you to separate your own ego or separate your own gut feeling, or just, I guess your heart is maybe the best way to put it, from what you think is going to perform and what your audience is actually going to like versus what actually the numbers are going to tell you. Another part to this is that when you're a small business, I think it's easier to do the split testing, and you'll know roughly how people are going to respond because you're kind of closer to those customers. You read your reviews more often, maybe you speak to them on customer service, or you're just more in touch with those customers. As you grow your business and you get more and more people coming into it, you must start relying on the data, because you can't possibly keep in touch with 100,000 or a million different people. And so you have to let the data do the decisions for you. And that brings me on to my first point. So that split testing is irrelevant if you're not doing it with enough data points in it. So you want to go for volume first. I tend to go for this number here, 10K recipients per test. Again, some people don't have that luxury, but the whole point of split testing is that you're trying to use data to determine, is A concept better or is B concept better? But if you're doing it for, like here, if you're doing it for 2,000 people and one of them wins by a hair, like a small margin, you can run that test again next week and the week after, and you'll probably get different results each time. It's not really giving you any kind of concrete data. And so you want to have enough people in each test that you do so that it's statistically relevant. And then again, even after you do one test, you don't just conclude that, okay, we know that people prefer a dollar amount discount versus a percentage discount because we did one test and that was it. No, you have to run these tests 5 to 10 times before you can really see any trends in any data, and that's going to give you a definitive answer that's reliable that you can use in the future. Now, once you've got the volume, what do you actually test? Well, I split this up into two buckets. So there's what I call simple split tests or creative tests. Simple ones are where there's no new emails that are required. These are really easy for you to implement. They can take not very long at all. These are things like your subject lines, your preview text, your body copy maybe. They don't require you to build a whole new email. And so split testing those are really simple and really easy to have running throughout your business. The second type is creative tests. Now, these are a little bit more complex because you might need to rebuild an entire email or an entire flow or an entire new offer or an entire new landing page or something that takes quite a lot of time away from you before you can actually run this test. So it's important to establish that split testing, sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's not. The bigger ones don't necessarily give you, well, they do give you the best results, of course, but you can learn a lot, just as much from these simple split tests as you can from the bigger ones. So make sure you're doing both. Here's an example of some simple split tests. So you've got your subject line, your preview text, your send time, send day, from name, which segment. These are really, really easy to set up. And so we're constantly running these for our clients. I recommend that you have at least a few of them running each month as well. Now, here's the part that people miss when it comes to split testing. And it's not just about which one wins and which one does better. It's about what you learn from it. So let's take this as an example. You've got shop the new collection versus get 20% off. Now, one of them wins, fine. What it tells you about your customers is the point. So if the discount button wins across multiple tests, then what you've just learned about your list is that they're trained to buy on price. And that's a far bigger, more uncomfortable piece of information than just use this button. So all of these tests kind of answer a small question, but then give you a bigger one for free. Let me give you the clearest example of that, which is send time. So send time is a psychology problem and not a logistics one. People treat this as logistics when it's like, when are my customers awake? When do they check their inbox? But the thing that actually moves the needle sits a little bit underneath that. And the reason for that is because the same customer can behave like a completely different person depending on the state that they're actually in when they receive that email from you. So take this one, Tuesday at 2 p.m. for example, they're at work, half their attention span is elsewhere, maybe they're a little bit exhausted from the day already. Buying decisions are not going to be made there. Whereas on a Saturday at 8 p.m, they're relaxed, they've got more time on their hands, they've got a clearer headspace to actually look and decide if they actually want it. This is just a thumb rule, but the whole point is showing you the difference in how you can have the same person but in a completely different state of mind between those 2 different days. And that is a psychological difference that you want to be clear of when you're doing these emails. Now, I mentioned at the start of this video that email test data is the cleanest data that you'll ever get for free, near enough. And the reason for that is that there's a difference between doing paid ads split testing and then email split testing. So in paid ads, your audience is constantly changing. It's constantly churning. You got new people coming in, you got fatigued people going out, and the ground keeps on shifting, right? With email, it's a little bit different. So for the majority of it, the most part, those groups are pretty much the same. You do have churn, of course, you have unsubscribes and you have new people coming in, but your kind of foundation of VIPs and repeat buyers and people who are engaged, enjoy your content, that doesn't tend to shift so much. And so when you make an email test, a split test, sorry, you can learn a whole lot about that email list, and it will tell you something about what you can do on your next test, so that every time that you learn something, you can reapply it again in the future. Now, if there's one condition that I should mention here, it's that you need to protect that email audience, and that's the difference with paid ads. The reason that they keep opening is because you haven't abused the relationship yet. So if you start hammering them with daily discount blasts or things that they're just not interested in, then people who were once clean, loyal, high signal customers, you erode that trust, and so you're gonna lose the thing that made testing actually worth doing in the first place, and you're gonna lose that relationship with that customer. So once you've got it, you should still test it, sure, but don't go overboard. Otherwise, you're just gonna destroy the trust and destroy the relationship that you've built with them already. All right, this is the part that separates brands, the ones who succeed, the ones who win, from the ones who don't. It's recording that data. And I think the reason most people don't do this is because it's tedious, it just takes so much time. Who can be bothered to record all this information? We can, that's the answer. But anyway, that's a shameless plug there. However, when it comes to this system, this is what you should be doing. You should be testing, you should be recording, you should be learning from it, and then designing the next one. And the second step, the recording, is what most people don't do. And why do you record it? Simple, so that you can learn from it. The same way that your brain knows not to touch the hot pan on the stove because you're gonna get burnt. You learn from that as a very young child, and then you don't do it when you're an adult. It's the same way with split testing. You learn that sending at 8 p.m. on a Saturday is a good idea versus sending at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, for example. So that's the whole point of this. If you don't record it, then it's the equivalent of your brain not remembering that the pan on the stove is hot, and then you just keep on making the same mistake over and over again. So recording it is important. How do you do that? I'm going to show you. All right, this is Surefire Media's email split testing tracker. So this is what we use for our clients to come up with ideas for split testing and then record them. So if you sign up to my email list, in the description below, you can get access to this split testing tracker template, and you can start using it yourself. It's really good. It saves you a ton of time to record your split test like this. So I'm going to run through it really quick. So the first thing that we've got is the campaign or the flow name that we're featuring here. Now, these 5 that I've got here are just examples for you to use so that you can know what kind of thing to test. So then we've got the hypothesis, so testing a different subject line to see the impact, testing the difference between a dollar amount offer versus a percentage off offer, that's in the sign-up form, I believe. And then testing impact of selling on Amazon versus selling on Shopify. So we've done that for a few clients where they've run an Amazon sale versus a Shopify sale back to back, and then they've seen which one is more effective from their email list. So yeah, these are just a few examples. Now, what it is that we're testing, we've got the various different variables here. So the day of the week, the time, subject line, preview text, headline, subtitle, creative offer, blah, blah, blah. Loads of different things that you can test. The metric that we're looking for, open rate, click rate, placed order rate. And then we've got the A test, which is the control, and then the B test, which is the new one. So the A test we always use as the control, and then which test won. And then over here is where you put in the data. So the size of the group, the amount of conversions that you get from it. Conversions in this case, if it's a test for open rate, would be the amount of people opening it. It's not necessarily the amount of people placing order. That's an important distinction there. So that is that's the conversion that we're trying to measure there, is the number of opens. So this one got a 38% open rate and this one got a 54%. And then as you can see that the increase or decrease in the different subject line was 42%. Now again, this is very vague. I'd add more detail into the hypothesis. I'd also add more detail into the actual winning test, or like what you discovered from the test. That's what I would put into these things. But this is how the template tracker works. We take that information from Klaviyo, stick it in here, and then whenever we want to look at a previous test, or we want to look at something that's worked, something that hasn't worked, or we've got a new product launch and we're thinking, what time should we send out the email? Should we send it at 9 a.m. on Friday or 5 p.m. on Friday? This testing tracker is absolute gold, and you can leverage this for the rest of your business's life. So I highly recommend that you go to the description and you sign up to my email list and you'll get this. Now, a small caveat, you don't need to split test every little thing. Again, time is a resource in this case. Just because it's free to do these tests doesn't mean that you should test everything if it's like something that's really insignificant. In fact, that can eat up a lot of your time, especially as an agency. It eats up a lot of time to do these split tests. So this is how we decide. Do you optimize or do you rebuild something entirely? So if you've got a weak email in a single flow, for example, then you can swap that email out. You can change the subject line or the creative or whatever it may be. You don't need to rebuild the entire thing. Only really rebuild an entire flow or an entire email, even in some cases, if there's a big gaping issue. So if you're getting a great open rate, a great click rate, but your placed orders aren't there, it doesn't indicate actually that something's wrong with the email. It might be that there's something wrong with where the people are landing on your site, or it could be that the email is selling a dream, it's selling something that doesn't exist. So in that case, check the messaging. It really depends on a case-by-case basis, but this is a good way to measure it. You don't need to change everything. You might just need to optimize something instead of rebuild it completely. But just know that the same thing goes in reverse. You can't optimize a terrible email with a terrible offer or product nobody wants. You can't just optimize it by getting a better subject line and getting a higher open rate. That's not going to increase your clicks and increase your conversions, because people don't want fundamentally what it is in that email. So this is the way to think about it. One of the great things about email marketing as well is that you've got your campaigns and you've got your flows. Now, your campaigns are obviously manual, your flows are semi-automated, let's call it, mostly automated. They still require some checking in, like this split testing, to keep them optimized. They don't just perform forever, or like not optimally at least. But the whole point is that when you're learning data from your flows and when you're learning from your campaigns, those two can kind of cross-pollinate. They can kind of inform the other. So here's a couple of good examples then. A welcome flow that shows social proof beats product education for first-time buyers. Test that in your new subscriber campaigns. Or if you've got a campaign angle that reactivates lapsed customers, test that angle in your win-back flow as well. So how many tests should you do? Again, like I say, this can quietly eat into your time. These tests take a lot of time to actually implement and consistently run and then record as well. So you want to make sure that you're optimizing your time. I would point your time at these revenue critical flows first. So your welcome sequence, your post-purchase, your checkout, your cart, those are the ones where you're going to get the biggest return on your time in terms of the uplift that you can create from learning things from split testing. When it comes to campaigns, you can almost always split test campaigns like send time and things like that. But again, you'll after you've done 10, 20 tests on send time, you're not really going to learn that much new information. And so then it becomes testing the creative and the offer and things like that, which again take more time to do. As a thumb rule, we aim for 3 to 5 per client, depending on the client, of course. More bigger clients need more tests. But in general, if you were to test 5 tests every single month and you did that for a year, that's 60 data points you've learned about your email list. 60. That's a ton of information that you can take from, let's say you did it throughout 2026. In 2027, you've already got a much clearer picture of how your email list performs optimally. That's gold dust if you're recording it. All right, so here's a good visual example here. We've got in the gold, we've got the Chad learner, the one who's learning, the one who's testing and recording the tests. And then we've got just the guesser, the loser, the guesser who's not recording anything, not testing anything. He's just doing what feels right in the moment, or, allowing a lack of time or a lack of knowledge or whatever to hinder them. Instead, that person who's putting the extra effort in to do these tests, they're going to get a much clearer picture of what is good for their email list, what gets results, than the person who's constantly guessing. And the gap does widen, doesn't close. So make sure that you're being the Chad learner and not the loser guesser. Okay, now because you stayed to the end, I'm going to give you an extra reward. You can already sign up to my list and you can get the split testing tracker. But one resource that's even better are the top split tests to run. So like I say, at Surefire, we work with over 75 different companies, different D2C brands. And during that time, we've got an idea of what does work, what does convert and what doesn't. So across the flows, across the campaigns, and across the sign-up forms, if you sign up to my list, you'll get our top 10 recommendations for which tests to run across those 3 different mediums, so your campaigns, your flows, and your split tests, your sign-up forms. So if you sign up now, you'll get the email test tracker and you'll get the best tests to run that we've learned through 4 years of working with over 75 different e-commerce brands. So I highly recommend that you go to the description now, sign up to the email list and get access to this, because it will save you a ton of time, no guesswork whatsoever. All right, that's everything from me. Hopefully you got some value from this video. Please do go and test something this week. Go and learn something about your list. You will not regret it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.